Hello, welcome to your next module. We are going to be going through a sample launch plan together. This is going to be something that you can duplicate regardless of when or what you're launching. So I wanted to go into more of an in-depth with you on a sample launch plan. This is our 9th module. And so we are 2/3 of the way through this. Marketing is still here for us. So the marketing portion of this program has been extended by one module. So this is our 5th module on marketing. This is actually going to be our last module on marketing. And as we've learned how to write content, how to post it, how to create a plan, now we're going to really use everything that we've learned. We have our offer, we have content that we can write, we know what content converts, we know how to write content that builds relationships. Now let's put it all together and create a launch plan. Now, we already kind of went through this in an earlier module where we broke down what a sample launch plan looks like, but this is going to go more in depth as to what you need and how we can plan this out, right? So, whenever I want to launch something, I think of it as I do a reverse engineer. So, what is that? So, I want to launch a program and I want to sell 5 spots. So, how can I plan for that? And so, this is why in the last module we talked about tracking and where our clients are coming from and all of those different things. All of those stats will eventually help you more and more as you go along with your business and help you actually plan and actually be able to plan income more effectively and plan sales more effectively. So, with that said, let's think about a simple plan. And I'm just going to use like easy numbers for us. So, with that, okay, let's get started. So, I want to say I want to launch a plan or I want to sell something I want to do something March 1st. March 1st, I want to launch a new program. Maybe it's called, I'm just going to say the Simple Sales Accelerator. So I'm going to name this program. I want to launch it. So, what does this program give people? What is the transformation? The transformation is helping you find more clients through clarity, marketing, and lead generation. So this is how we can kind of brainstorm first and foremost. What is this going to help our clients? Why do they need this program? What is the transformation? How many people do you want? I'm going to say 5 people at $2,000 each. Okay, great. Again, this is pre-planning. So right now we're just kind of brainstorming. So, what kinds of things will I need for this launch? I need some sort of activity or lead generation activity to start putting these people through a funnel that they get to this end goal, right? So, what kinds of things should I be talking about to try and attract the people who are struggling with marketing, lead generation, clarity, right? So, I need to start. What does my content need to be? Content, marketing, lead generation, and clarity. So, all of those things I want to be talking about, right? So, I want to start attracting these people who have issues in these 3 areas who are going to benefit from this program. Okay, so now we've kind of have a very loose brainstorm kind of thing here. And say we're starting this plan now, right? So it is the end of December. We are doing this program, and we're going to start our launch program. We're going to give ourselves 8 weeks. So I'm going to start this program, or this launch plan. Plan is to be started January 1st. So that's going to give us 8 weeks. So with that, if you're ever launching a new program and it's to a colder audience and your audience isn't super warm, give yourself at least 8 weeks, if not more. 8 weeks is pretty much the standard. 8 weeks, I see it, that is definitely enough. If you want to do it 12 weeks or 16 weeks, by all means you can. 8 weeks, if you're consistent and you have this plan in place, 8 weeks is really great to make some sales. So for 8 weeks, I'm going to be talking about marketing, lead generation, and clarity, because during that 8 weeks, I want to attract as many people as I can. So then 5 of those people buy my program at $2,000 each. So of course, when we think about this, right, this is just common sense. If you were to go and ask 5 people right now to join this program, do you have 5 people in your community right now that you can safely and comfortably ask to pay you $2,000 to be in this program? Chances are you do not. So this is why we have to follow a plan and start nurturing these leads so then they can warm up to us and then they can join our program, and it's an easy transition, and that's it. Now, the difference between how some people launch and how I launch is I like to do a lot of behind the scenes selling. And so for instance, if you are planning out your launches throughout the year and say you knew you're going to launch this March 1st, say you knew this back in November, you can start selling these spots now. Who cares? Maybe give them an earlier call, maybe give them an extra call, maybe give them a couple $100 off. You can do all of those things. Now, for me, that's how I've sold out most of my programs. I have invited people privately and they have joined. I've never needed to create a sales page from it. I never needed to really live launch. I, would live launch and then already have some spots filled. So with that said, I'm going to give you this launch plan, but at the same time, giving you also insights on how you can sell behind the scenes. So let's break this down further, right? So we already have kind of our structure and our game plan. We want to do a launch plan for 8 weeks. We need to create content around marketing, lead generation, clarity, create excitement so people are going into our funnel, and we're going to have 5 people who are going to join at $2,000 each. And we're gonna give them this transformation, right, in our program on March 1st. So let's back it up. So it's easy to think about our 8-week plan. 8-week plan. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And then 2 weeks. This is easy. This is kind of what I follow this whole entire time. And so our 2 weeks, we want to have we want to have our plan broken down into 2 weeks. So we need to do some lead generation, right? So we need to create some content. So let's warm up our audiences. Warm up audiences. Post consistent content focusing on transformation of your program. So what does this look like? Your content is going to be super value focused. Not talking about your program just yet, but talking about the things that are, of course, in the program, if that makes sense. So you're going to talk about maybe clarity issues and how you solve them, marketing issues and how you solve them, lead generation and how you solve them. For 2 weeks, you're going to be focusing on that. So then, 2 weeks, what are we going to do? We can do some sort of opt-in that's going to lead us to selling this program. So, what does that look like? A lot of people will do challenges, workshops, master classes, things like that, where you're going to create, again, more content, but give them something in return of, hey, I want you to sign up for this thing. Come sign up for it. So for 2 weeks, promote and announce and promote free challenge, masterclass, workshop, etc. So for 2 weeks, you're going to do this. You're going to promote it in Facebook groups, on your Instagram. You're going to even invite people if you have any warm leads. You're going to talk about this consistently for 2 weeks. Get as many people as you can to sign up with you. And this number and how many people you get to sign up with you, this is where your stats will start to come into play. So what I mean by this, say you have 100 people that come in here, right? So example, 100 people sign up for your free challenge. Typically, we can say, out of all the cold people we've ever converted, what is our conversion rate? And so you might have these stats already, and if you don't, that's okay too, because we just learned how to keep track of those stats now going forward. Now, as you continue to keep track of those stats, this ratio, this conversion rate, helps you more down the road. So, typically, industry standard, and what I've seen, is that your conversion rate is 2% when everyone is mostly cold. So 2% of 100, of course, is 2 people. Now, if you want to convert 5 people and your conversion rate is 2%, that's more people here, right? So we need to figure out what our conversion rate is. And I will say this too, if your audience is warm as well, if you're inviting warm leads, that's also going to increase your likelihood that someone's going to sign up with you, right? So let's just say that you have, you want to have 5 people. Some of them are going to be warm. Some of them have already voiced that they want to work with you. And you can go from there. But it's really cool. It's really key or really important for you to keep up with keeping track of your stats, especially as you go through this first launch as well. First time you launch, especially if it's to a warm audience, it could be as high as 8%, 8%, 9%, 10%, depending on how warm and how many times you've sold before. So I'm going to delete that just to get that out of here. So just think about your own conversion rates right now, and if, how you've gotten people to work with you already, if they've been cold, if they've been following you for a while, what does that stat look like? That will help you kind of gauge how many people you need in this program, right? And so a lot of times, if it's hard to go by just like stats, right? Stats don't guarantee anything. It just helps you make executive CEO decisions, great decisions. You can have 30 people in there and 2 people sign up, right? So your conversion rate is like really high. Now, I've had launches where I had over 100 people sign up for a free challenge, and I've barely gotten 1 or 2. I got 2 people in for a program. Now, I've had people where I had 30 people sign up for the free challenge literally right after, similar program, similar thing, and I had 1 person sign up and then work one-on-one with me after that. So it's definitely something where you can base off your best data, right? But at the same time, just keep going through it, right? You never know what's going to happen. So we can use the data to make decisions and have that build our confidence, but at the same time, let's make sure that we are still following a plan, because we never know what's going to happen. So, okay, for 2 weeks, let's get back to this. 2 weeks, promote a free challenge and a masterclass, a workshop. then you're going to run the free challenge, masterclass, workshop, and you're going to give yourself, so this is going to be a little bit different here. So your workshop free challenge might only be 3 days, right? So it might not be these full 2 weeks. You're going to announce probably your program within here. Well, you're going to give yourself some time also to build relationships with the people that are in your free challenge and masterclass or workshop, right? So it's really great to keep an eye on who is signing up, who is engaging with your content, making sure that you are keeping track of these people and that you are reaching out to them, building a relationship right away. No ifs, ands, or buts. We're not going to wait until the challenge to speak to them. We're not going to wait until you sell something to speak to them. We're going to talk to them right away. So then, that is also what I call behind the scenes selling. So we are going to already start building relationships with people as they go through the workshop, or even as they are before the workshop even begins. So even when the people are signing up in this category here, start talking to them, start building relationships, start making yourself known, start interacting with them so then they can see your content as well. Super, super important. This is how, again, you build a relationship. You're going to warm up the person, and you have all of this time, right? Say you announce this and someone signs up here. You still have almost 6 weeks before your program starts that this person can be nurtured by you and join your program. And again, consistency is the name of the game. So here, you're promoting then your program. And program starts. So again, this is going to be different depending on how long your workshop, class, challenge goes, and then how many weeks you want to promote and sell your program. A lot of times when we are in the middle of a live launch and I'm talking to people and they're like, well, I want to keep extending it until I sell spots. It's like, well, how many times does your audience really need you to sell? And it's really not that much. What really works is when you invite people. So again, that's why it's so important before we even do this, right? Like before we even have a game plan, we start executing our 8-week plan, we are always talking to people and building relationships. That is lead generation 101. And it's a perfect segue into our next category of the program, because next week we will be going through lead generation. So I think that this right now and how to make launching way less overwhelming for you is to really hone in on the fact that just talking to people is going to make this so much easier for you. Filling up programs before you actually get to these dates, that it's actually going to be way easier for you. Now, so one thing you can do also too, after this is done, after you kind of map this out, we want to think about in low level program or a downsell. And then we want to think about an upsell as well. So the downsell is going to be anyone who can't afford or doesn't want to invest in this program just yet. Maybe they are brand new and they want just a taste of what it's like to work with you. What is our low-level program or downsell going to be? So we can offer an intensive. We can offer maybe a call. We can offer something that you just create for this purpose only. And then if someone does join your program, what is the upsell? After they're done with the program, do we want to have one-on-one coaching? Do we want them to join our mastermind if we have one? What is the next step in your client funnel that somebody can then go to? So again, this plan can be for anything that you want to do. So this could be for an intensive, right? You can offer intensives, special intensives. Maybe you want to take 5 people and each intensive's $500 each. You're still going to follow the same kind of thing. same plan. Maybe you do a different kind of challenge this time around, and it has to focus on what the transformation is. All of your content for 8 weeks is focused on the transformation that your program does, not anything different, not anything that is not anything to do with this program. You're only talking about this program for 8 weeks. And so that's when you're probably going to get annoyed of yourself. And if you are, you're doing it right. So again, from there, if we have an intensive here, what is our downsell from an intensive? Since the intensive is pretty much a low level thing. Well, maybe it's going to be where I do just a 60-minute call, or maybe a quick discovery call, or maybe you do like a game plan, something or other. Or then the upsell from an intensive is going to be maybe getting a spot in your next group program or your mastermind or even one-on-one coaching. So it's always important to think of these other offers and these other things that you can sell to your audience to keep them in your funnel and keep them, keep retaining these clients, again and again. So with that being said, let's think about all the other things that we might need during our launch. So we already talked about content, right? So obviously content, we need a game plan, which that is what we have up there. And then we need to think about how else are we going to interact with our clients. So game plan is one thing, right? Like telling us what we need to do, but let's make sure we set ourselves up for success. Block time for relationship building. If we are going to have a free challenge masterclass, this probably has to do with email marketing, where we're going to capture emails. So email funnel set up, emails written. And I want to add here, I want to say content written. And the thing is the most that you can get done and schedule ahead of time will give you the optimum time for you to show your face and build relationships. And that's all you need to do with all these 8 weeks. Get as much as you can done. So your email funnel set up, your emails are written and scheduled. I'm going to put content written and scheduled. I'm going to do email funnel setup, and then actually that probably includes a landing page. Making sure everything works. And then let's make sure that we have a sales page for our program. Checkout works. And so these are the things, again, just to have prepped ahead of time. And you can do this during the 8 weeks as well. So maybe like during these 2 weeks, you have 2 weeks to do all of these things. And once you do it the first time, you can just copy and do it again and again. Especially if you're keeping track of what works and what doesn't, you can reuse things over and over again. And now, when I work with my clients one-on-one, of course, we go into depth of what this actually looks like for your specific needs. But I'm telling you, this is exactly what I do every single time I want to sell something. I will say, okay, I want to start selling something. I'm going to have availability for more clients soon. Let's start planning out this thing. So, okay, 2 weeks, I need to start writing content for 2 weeks. Then after 2 weeks, let's think of a challenge, promo, whatever I want to do in my Facebook group. That's where I run all my challenges. After 2 weeks, I will run the challenge, and I only sell to the people that actually sign up. So let me talk about that really quick too. You probably see a lot of times where people are promoting things to the public, and that's fine. You're going to have less likely people sign up from the public, especially if they didn't come through this whole entire funnel with you, right? It just makes sense. However, if you've been nurturing them, building relationships, providing value, you have a freebie, that makes it more likely for them to sign up. Now, with me, what I like to do is I just promote it within my Facebook group, and then I will announce it a couple times on my Instagram stories. But really, 99.9% of those people will come from those people that ran, like did the challenge, did the masterclass, and have been following me for a while. So those are going to be the warmer people. I do have cold people a lot. I wouldn't say a lot, but I do have cold people that will come and work with me that I don't know that they're following me, but that's why consistency is key here. So again, just making sure that you understand. Let me just run through this again really quickly to sum this up. Behind the scenes launching, so this is basically like a very easy launch plan. At the same time, you're taking the pressure off yourself when you are doing lead generation behind the scenes and you're inviting people ahead of time to fill your spots. You don't have to rely on time. You don't have to rely on urgency. You don't have to rely on the plan itself or your content. You can take matters into your own hands and you can invite people. So, for starters, when you're outlining your program, think of what the program is and what the transformation is going to be and what's the date you want to announce the program. How many people do you want? I like to think of, I want to mention this too. 5 just seems to be a good number for me. I don't mind if I have more than 5 sometimes. I don't mind if I have less than 5 sometimes. But 5 is usually the goal I like. And I set forth for myself with pretty much everything that I do. And so if I, depending on what I do, you can say maybe a, easy goal for yourself is maybe 3 people, maybe a stretch goal for yourself is 8 people. So you can do 3 different goals as well, if that works for you too. But I just say 5, it's a great number for me, it's easy to remember. That's where I'm going to set myself up. So in order for us to start attracting people that need this transformation, what kind of content do we need? We need to do the content that's going to provide the transformation, right? So I want to do this plan January 1st. I want to run this plan for 8 weeks. It's going to give me the optimum time for me to warm up to my audience. In 8 weeks, I will say it's going to be, like I said earlier, it's a great time, especially if you've been showing up consistently already and people know what you do and it's very clear. If you want to give yourself 12 weeks, 10 weeks, 16 weeks, that's by all means go ahead. You would just extend promoting. You would extend, warming up your audience. You would extend these 2 top things initially. And then that would give you more time to build relationships as well. So with our 8-week plan, we want to warm up our audiences and post consistent content focusing on the transformation of your program. So again, make sure you're annoying yourself and you are constantly talking about the transformation that is meant for your audience, and that's all you're planning on posting here. We talked about problem-aware content, so making sure they know the problem that they have. And then we're going to announce and promote some sort of free challenge, masterclass, webinar, workshop, and we're going to spend 2 weeks promoting that as well. So again, that gives us another chance to create content around this transformation, give us the same outcome that our program would, right? What is that first step? Maybe you do something that is just on clarity. Maybe you do a marketing masterclass. And then, of course, at the end, I'm going to run the free challenge, and then I'm going to sell the program at the end of the challenge, at the end of the masterclass, workshop, whatever it is. Because, again, I'm giving them the transformation of maybe, figuring out their marketing. Well, guess what? The next step to that is going to be they probably need lead generation. Maybe they're still lacking clarity. So they would need my program. I'm giving them part of the puzzle. They don't have the whole puzzle yet. So I'm giving them what, the next step of what they would want. So again, we're going to make sure that we are promoting our program. 2 weeks is a pretty long time to promote it. But if you've been building relationships and giving yourself some time throughout these 8 weeks to promote it, to talk to people, it's easy just to then invite people and work with them, work with payment plans, however you need to then get into your program. While you're thinking of your plan, make sure you have a downsell and an upsell in your back pocket. You can create anything that you want, but this is also going to give you an additional income and chances for signing clients at the end of that. So if, say for instance, you didn't have a $10,000 launch, technically you could still have a $10,000 launch, depending on if you downsell or upsell, from those clients. And now this is a quick little checklist of the items needed during a launch. We want to make sure and schedule as many things as we can so that you have time, your time is fully dedicated to showing up, building relationships, maybe doing Instagram stories, doing live, showing up in other people's audiences. And again, if, on my one-on-one clients, we really dive deep and we work together on the specifics of this. And so rather than giving you specifics, I think it's more beneficial to just tell you what is required. And this is your most basic thing here. So emails written and scheduled out. You have your email funnel set up, meaning email funnel setup is they're going to give you your email address, their email address in exchange for them to get some value emails before their challenge, masterclass, workshop. You're going to create a sales page for your program. Make sure the checkout works. You can do that ahead of time. We want to have a game plan, so very loose game plan here. Maybe set a goal. Maybe make sure our content is written and scheduled if possible. And then we want to make sure, again, we're always building relationships behind the scenes and we're inviting to not only our free challenge, but to our program. So I hope this was helpful for you. And if you have any questions, let me know. But this is our last module in marketing. And so next time it's going to be solely on lead generation for the next 3 modules. So see you next time.